Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with a new Mr. Informal Podcast 213. We are on the Mr. Informal Podcast 213. Can you believe that? 213. Well, certainly I can believe that. I hope you are doing well today. I hope you are healthy and I hope you are enjoying life. I cannot believe this daylight savings time is still here. It needs to be removed. There's no point of it. In any case, please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com, mrinformal.com. So, what do we have here? Well, we have 4 topics. We have number 1, Apple releases a yellow color iPhone. Number 2, Nike abuses its supply chain. Number 3, Carhartt partners with Trove regarding reselling their items. And then last but not least is, I call it, never learn. So as you know, we have these layoffs going on and it seems like no one is learning from 2008, no one's learning from 2000 or 2001 and so on, and the cycle goes all over again. So let's talk about that later. So those are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast 213, and so let's go ahead and start the podcast. So no articles on this one. It's basically all over the news. Apple has released a new colorway for their iPhones. It is yellow. Yellow just happens to be my favorite colors, and in the past it's always been gold from the Samsung, Motorola, even iPhones. I know iPhone had yellow, but it was a long time ago. And then also with Huawei, and then Sony had gold, so on, but never really a true yellow. Other yellows are lime yellow or even golden yellow, but the yellow that Apple releases is what I call a true yellow. It's not a lime, it's not a gold. It's more like a little bit of a lighter shade of sunflower yellow. But this one I like. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I normally do not talk about Apple here, or even just iPhone in general. Well, I know what will happen. Now that Apple has released the color yellow, Samsung is going to follow this with a limited edition or a later release of their Samsung Galaxy S23 in yellow. Also maybe in their lower models in yellow. Sony will do the same thing. I'm pretty sure Google is going to release a yellow in their Pixel line. It might be a lighter yellow, it could be lime yellow, it could be any type of color yellow. And then the Chinese brands are also going to release a yellow color, and that already happened with Huawei and other Chinese brands. They already released a color yellow. Unbelievable, right? So anything that Apple does, everyone wants to copy. It's as if no one wants to lead their own path, or no one wants to make their own path. They're waiting for Apple to create path, which I do not understand even to this day. As you know, Samsung loves to copy whatever Apple does. It's really simple. Don't do what Apple does. Get ahead of them. Why don't you just innovate the damn thing? And I still don't understand why they still do it to this day. So now that Apple has released a color yellow, or will release a color yellow iPhone, people will probably line up, or people will probably buy it. Me, I might buy one, not because it's going to be my main phone. It's most likely it's going to be an extra phone, or going to be like a DAP, basically a digital audio player device for me. So we'll see about that, and maybe as a backup phone, whatever it may be, just because of the color yellow. It's funny how the world works, right? One thing is not attractive unless you change the color, and then when, especially with cars, classic cars look good in red, sky blue, or even yellow, Ferrari yellow. It looks great Ferraris look. I love the way Ferrari cars look in yellow. Same thing with Lamborghini. So, just to conclude, what's gonna happen is gonna create a trickle-down effect to other brands out there. They're gonna release the color yellow. Also, look out for case manufacturers to create cases that are color yellow. On to topic number 2 from retail.com, titled Shareholder Activists Blast Nike for Doing Too Little to Prevent Abuses in Supply Chain. Wow, that's been obvious for decades and decades. Activist investment platform TulipShare rebucked Nike in an open letter this week, willingly ignoring shareholders' concerns over potential abuses in the retail supply chain, including forced labor. We are concerned by the lack of transparency relating to Nike's disclosure on whether the company is on track to meet certain targets, TulipShare said in a letter. We are also greatly concerned that Nike lacks an adequate remediation process for agreed supply chain workers, which could lead to human rights violations such as wage theft. Agreed. The letter also pointed out to legal, financial, reputational risks to Nike for not doing more to root out abuses in the supply chain. Nike did not respond to supply chain's request. So basically, another 279 factories in 33 countries made Finnish apparel for Nike, with most facilities in Vietnam 26%, China 20%, and Cambodia 16%. The company has 139 strategic tier 2 supplier and does not currently make disclosure around its third tier and beyond. Wow. So the response is Nike takes seriously and fully support national and international efforts to end forced labor, human trafficking, and modern slavery. The retailer previously said in a statement condemning the human rights violation. So, the group said in the report that unresolved claims show that the scope of wage losses can only be addressed by the fashion companies at the top of its supply chains, per Asia Floor Wage and Global Labor Justice International Labor Rights Forum. Wow, that's a long name. In any case, look, this has been happening decades and decades and decades. And honestly, this TulipShare thing, I don't know why they're bringing it up just now. You know, it's probably because Nike is not meeting its shareholder demands or shareholder goals. That's all it probably is. All this is just marketing talk. But in all honesty, the whole fashion industry is dirty. That's all it is. It has blood in its hands. Okay? Look, I'm not gonna say that it's just the whole fashion industry. It's more than that. It could be the metal industry when it comes to lithium and copper mining. You know, hundreds and hundreds when you're trying to take advantage of these low-wage countries. But the fact is that, you know, Nike's been in this business for so long and they're getting away with it. It's just ridiculous. And no one wants to bring it up because they probably have stocks with Nike. No one. Also, people love Nike products. That's why no one is batting an eye on it. But when does it end? When are we humans are actually going to take stands on human rights? So far, I haven't seen it. Me, I can take a stand in human rights, but it's just me. Whether you're gonna have a collective group, and you know, the media is not gonna do anything because the media is on its own. They played with their own terms. They're not really fair, not like what it used to be. Especially you, CNN, the most trusted news source. Get out of here. So, I mean, what do we have here? Is this gonna be fixed? Is Nike going to do anything? Of course not. They're just gonna move along, and this just another phase that they're just gonna go through. Is just probably some hurricane or some gust of wind that, you know, that's just probably gonna pass through, and then that's it. No one's gonna do anything. Basketball players still gonna get paid. Teenagers are still gonna buy Nike shoes. Jordan lovers are gonna buy Jordan shoes. You know, people who love working out are still gonna buy Nike. Nike's sponsoring these colleges, schools, whatever, or these athletes. That's it. But no, honestly, these athletes don't care because in the end, it's all about the money. On to the third topic from retaildive.com, titled Carhartt Workwear Partners with Resale Company Trove. Carhartt announced a resale program in partnership with Trove, a re-commerce tech company that will allow customers to trade in second-hand products in exchange for a digital gift card. The digital gift cards can be redeemed in Carhartt's website, brick-and-mortar shoes, as well as resale sites, according to the company press release. Carhartt will test the trade-in programs in 6 U.S. stores before expanding all its retail location this year. You know what? I actually like this idea, but I'm going to get into this. So Carhartt is one of the latest high-profile brands to work with Trove to create custom rebrand its resale program. The re-commerce company also counts Levi's, Canada Goose, Patagonia, and Lululemon as clients. That's pretty good. The new platform will help Carhartt reduce its environmental footprint and this type of clothing waste, according to the announcement. However, the company is still working on developing the program's environmental goals, said Gretchen Valade, Carhartt's director of sustainability. I actually think that Carhartt, it's really simple. Carhartt just needs to go back to 100% cotton. Enough with the polyester if you want to talk about sustainable footprint. If you have a 100% cotton jacket or Carhartt pants or workwear pants, I mean, you could easily recycle that. I mean, that's all there is to it. You don't have to reject it because it has polyester on it. Not only that, why did Carhartt took this long to partner with Trove? Now, as a matter of fact, why even partner with Trove? Why couldn't they just do this on their own? It's pretty obvious that they weren't thinking about sustainability. They weren't thinking about recycling. They were not talking about carbon footprint. They were not talking about waste. It's pretty obvious. I mean, think about it. Carhartt has been in the business since 1940s, 30s. Older than me. Come on. People have been talking about sustainability since the early 2000s, and you're just thinking of this? What about secondhand? You're just thinking of this? I mean, it's pretty obvious that they're really slow. Get what I mean? They are really slow. But, at least they're in it. And people trade their old Carhartt to Trove and can use it as a digital gift card, which you can buy new Carhartts. I'm not mad about that. I'm definitely that because it stays within the company. Also, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna have a recycling program with Carhartt, where they are gonna rework or fix old Carhartts. Hey, which is pretty cool. I like vintage Carhartts, and I'm sure Carhartt will also want to do something with their vintage. They're probably gonna have a vintage department in their company. But it's just a matter of time until they probably end the relationship with Trove, because I think the writing's on the wall with Trove. I think Carhartt is just testing this out. Once this thing gets established, they're probably gonna end up partnership with Trove, and they're gonna do their own thing. So Trove CEO Gail Tate said the company could be open to working with other workwear brands in the future. We're lucky to have a really leader in the space. Of course, we're never one turn away new partners because our mission is to keep so many products in use as we can. So, as usual, it's just marketing talk, but hey, it's great to see Carhartt join in with this recycle program. Also, it's surprising that Trove even have Lululemon under their belt. Same thing with Levi's, Canada Goose, and Patagonia. That's unbelievable right there. Certainly, Trove is making moves. They're doing great. I know Poshmark or even ThredUp is also trying to compete in the re-commerce market, but it's going to be interesting. I think all these resellers for re-commerce is going to be big. I mean big, probably as big as vintage industry. So we'll see what will come in the future. On to the last topic. This topic is no need for websites or multiple sources. I just want to talk about this. The title of this is Never Learn. What I mean is, as you see, there are so many layoffs not just the tech industry, but the fashion industry, the retail industry, logistics, basically all kinds of industries having layoffs. Or so you're gonna have closure too, business closure. But the thing is, we've had a lot of hires in 2021 and 2022, but no one seems to ever learn anything. Those were just temporary phases, not long term. Now that has gone out, even Mark Zuckerberg said that they overhired. Google overhired, Microsoft overhired, Amazon overhired. All of that stuff is pretty obvious. Why do companies just never learn from the past? We went through this with 2008 and 2009, where we've had a bunch of layoffs during the recession. It seems like it's happening now. Also, we've had a bunch of layoffs in the fashion industry and also the tech industry. In the tech, especially the tech industry, they should know better, especially during that dot-com bubble. And they still have not learned anything. It's just to show you that in the end, people don't really think long term. They think short term so they can get that short term profit and they can make their shareholders happy. It's unbelievable. And you know who gets the worst part about it? It's just the low level workers who don't even make a dent in the financial statement of the company. If you really want to make a dent in the financial statement of the company, hire the managers, the upper management, the executive, the VPs, the CFOs, but not the lower levels. It's unbelievable these days, hey, if you're in the higher up, you don't want to get fired because you won't have a job. But the fact is that you could easily get a job with that experience, with that name, if you're a VP of something. It's unbelievable that we go through so much every year and yet we still do not learn. And yet people and I also blame the employees for not learning too, because they think that they have a job is always going to be secure. A job is never secure. I mean, let's be honest here. You can easily get fired without notice, and yet the company wants you to give notice to them when you're about to quit, right? It's a double standard. So for all the people out there listening, like, a job is never guaranteed. A job is never promised. A job is not always forever. Your position is not always going to be forever. So you just gotta save up. You gotta prepare for the future. Make sure your money is making money for you. And the companies out there, if you keep doing this, you're never gonna learn. You're gonna go through phases, and all I'm gonna hear is marketing talk or saving their face. Basically, you hear what Sundar Pichai said in Google. It was his fault, and yet what did he do? Nothing. If it's your fault, then why don't you fire yourself? Why lay off so many people? You gotta fire that. Not only that, Google makes so much money that they did not need to fire these people. I'm sure they regret firing those people because of what happened to their AI chat. I'm sure they need more people in AI chat. They could have put those people who they fired to the AI chat department, but they're not gonna do that. It's unbelievable that you would think with decades of experience and lesson, people would actually learn their lesson, but no, does not happen.